Hey everybody, this is Megan, and this is the first video for our Mosaic Crochet class. In this video, I'll provide a little introduction to Mosaic Crochet. I'll show you some samples, and we will talk about supplies. So to start off, I would like everyone in the class to work with medium weight or light worsted yarn. It's a very middle of the road yarn. On the packages, you'll see these have a number 4 that way and a number 3 for the weight of the yarn. It's in a little skein of yarn on the package and has a number 3 and a number 4. And they actually both call for a size H8 crochet hook. We're going to work slightly bigger than that. The crochet hooks, if you have something close to an H or an I, you can always, use something slightly bigger or slightly smaller. But I do think it's nice to have an I9 metal hook because your stitches will be just a little bit bigger, so it'll be easy to go back into your work and go into stitches that you have already completed. So this is Loops and Threads Impeccable yarn from Michaels. This is Lion brand mandala yarn that's offered at almost every craft store and Walmart. These are great yarns that you could work with. I used these two yarns, the mandala and the impeccable, to work on this afghan. This is an afghan with a bunch of different mosaic crochet designs that Tina has posted on YouTube. She is a prolific mosaic crochet teacher. This is called the Havana Afghan. So you'll see with mosaic crochet, you have all these cool geometric patterns. You do have a lot of loose ends on the side of your work while you're working, but there is a way to hide them. And then the back always has just plain old stripes. There is another method of crochet called intermeshing crochet that gives you designs on both sides, but that's another technique that I have not tried yet. So just keep that in mind when you're looking up ideas, that there's a whole nother method similar to this with different technique. Okay. The first pattern that we are going to work on as a class is called the Apache Tiers. So this is an example of Apache Tiers. It looks like a staircase. It's also one of the patterns that was in the afghan I just showed you. And the nice thing about this pattern is that it repeats pretty much every row. So it's very predictable to see where your stitches will go as you work. And it's less likely that you're going to make mistakes. I know for a fact that there are some mistakes in this infinity scarf that I made, and I'm okay with that. I don't drive myself crazy going back to pull out rows and rows of work just because one little stitch is out of place. This scarf also shows you the double border on the edge, which is what I use to hide all of those loose ends that come with this work. So there's a double border that I'll teach you how to do on the edge, and it gives the scarf like a nice cushy edge as well. If you're still picking out your colors, and you can choose white as one of your contrasting colors, that really is a good color choice to help make your design stand out. Whatever you choose, you want there to be a lot of contrast. So maybe a really light color and a really dark color, or a really pale color and a really bold color, so that your work really stands out. For our first project, we're going to use this Apache Tiers design to do a pot holder. That's what I'm going to create. But if you wanted to actually just keep going with the design to make it a scarf or an infinity scarf or even a small pillow, you could do any of those designs for your first project. So I wanted to show you from my own learning experience, my learning curve. I thought these two yarns would actually make a nice complement for mosaic crochet. These are really thin yarns that would be a nice challenge for you in a future mosaic crochet project. It's like a dusty pink and then a variegated purple. Once I started working with them, I quickly discovered that the contrast just wasn't there. It was just really hard to see the design, as you can tell on the bottom row here. When I switched to white, I liked that so much more. I could really see all of the hard work and intricacy in my stitches. So just like showing you this, so when you're picking out your yarn, you can tell how important it is to find some high contrast designs. And then I kept working on this. I think it'll be a scarf someday. You can see it's just a piece of work in progress. It has all of the loose ends kind of hanging down there because I haven't gotten to that double border. If you can find a basket to keep your scissors, your crochet hook, and your yarn in, it's really handy to have a basket. It's also really handy to have a nice sharp pair of scissors nearby. I definitely think for this hobby, it's worth investing in a brand new pair. Treat yourself to a new pair of scissors because you'll be using them a lot and it'll make your life just so much happier while you're working. Okay, I'll just show you a couple more of my pieces that I've made to give you another idea of where mosaic crochet can take you. I have this really nice scarf. This one's not an infinity scarf. I actually just made it a long scarf with the double border going all the way around. And I found a cool geometric design. This yarn is a variegated yarn from Sesame, that's the brand. And then the pale blue was just a yarn that I found at Hobby Lobby in King of Prussia. And I like the contrast it gave me. I used the light blue for the double border on the edge. And it just made a really big, warm winter scarf, shawl almost. Okay. We have a pillow here. Pillow is a nice, easy beginner's project. You can do two different designs, one on the front, one on the back. You can change colors as much or as little as you'd like, but you will need at least two colors to alternate with. And then after creating the front and the back of the pillow, I connected them using that double border technique, and I hid the ends inside this double border. They're just enveloped in there. You can either buy a pillow insert from a craft store, or you could just use some polyfill and stuff it with your own filling. All right, I have one more Afghan to show you that is a work in progress. I just get so excited about mosaic crochet patterns that I don't always finish a project before moving on to a new one. But this is the Casablanca pattern from Tina, and it is one of her crochet along Afghans. And it has a longer repeat than most of the patterns that we'll be working with. You can tell it takes about 15 stitches from top to bottom to finish one of these diamonds. So with a longer repeating pattern, it's easier to make mistakes. It's a little harder to see in your mind where your stitches belong if it takes a long time for the pattern to complete itself. And there are some mosaic crochet patterns that have an even longer repeat than this. I tried some, they were frustrating. So for beginners, I definitely recommend you stick with patterns that repeat very frequently, where it doesn't take so many rows to kind of finish the repetition. I love working with variegated yarn. Um, this one, I also worked with black yarn. It's a good yarn for maybe your second project, but starting out, it's a little bit hard to see your stitches when you use black yarn, so that could be frustrating. If you really want to use black yarn, you might want to have a craft light with you so that it really casts some bright, clean light on your work while you're going, makes it easier on your eyes. Um, there's a brand of light called Ott light, OTT, Ott, and those lights are really convenient for crafters. They sell them at all craft stores. A A lot of them are just battery operated, which is nice, and those will really help you see your work. Okay, so that is it for this first introductory video, and I can't wait to start crocheting with everybody. Okay, bye-bye.